Take a comfortable seat. I'm going to mute you all now. There we go. And as you take your comfortable seat, be sure that how you're sitting feels good on your low back or on your hip flexors or whatever part of your body tends to speak up to you. Because right now is when you might notice particular stiffness. So maybe shift to sitting with your feet out in front of you like this. Okay. Do what you need to do for that comfort. The Sanskrit for this first seat is Sukhasana. And Sukha very literally translates to easeful or easy. And I don't necessarily think of it as an easy place to sit because especially in the morning, we haven't moved our bodies at all. And so coming to a seat can be challenging. But the invitation actually is that we find some ease in all of our poses. And so in the yoga that I teach, this alignment-based yoga that many of you are very comfortable and familiar with now, the idea is that when you start to work with your body and train your body to find this place of healthier alignment, that even if at first it doesn't feel easy per se, it becomes more easeful over time because it's a place that helps your body be in a stable and healthy position. And so with that in mind, come to as easeful a seat as you can, but then as we move through our practice, that's what we're going to focus on is what's the alignment in this pose that eventually will be the most helpful in creating ease in my body. And I think of ease in my body as I walk off of my mat, ease in my body as I go to the grocery store or, whatever I have to do in my day. So take a moment to shift sitting bones one more time, making that good solid connection with whatever you're sitting on. Hands come to your upper thighs, right up at your hip creases, and give that little extra push to help yourself ground. Then lift your shoulders up and back, lengthen up through the back of your neck, and with your eyes closed, take a full deep inhale and exhale in and out of your nose, starting to tune into a balance, an evenly balanced breath. Notice if there are any places throughout your breath that don't feel as easeful. Notice if there are any stuck places. And maybe allow a little shift or movement in your body and see if that enables your breath to move more easily. And now connecting hands together at heart center, press your palms together, lift your heart space up. Take a full deep inhale and exhale in and out of your nose. Then softly opening your eyes, release your hands down and walk your hands out to your knees and gently start to move forward and back with your pelvis. Starting to find that cat and cow action, beginning to find some space through your low back. Starting to notice all along your spine, anything that's showing up. Take just a couple more deep inhales and exhales. Then inhale, sit tall. Bring your left fingertips to the floor beside you. Right arm reaches over your ear. And then work your way as deeply into the side stretch as your body is ready for. And then a little rooting action through your right sitting bone. Put both shoulder blades onto your back. And now we'll move with our breath here as you exhale, turn your torso a little downward, reaching in that diagonal. Inhale, turn up and open. Exhale, turn downward. And inhale, up and open. One more time here with your breath. Then rising all the way back up to a tall spine. Right fingertips to the floor, left arm reaches over your ear. Root with your left sitting bone. Put both shoulder blades onto your back. And then begin that movement again. Exhale, turn downward. And inhale, open up. Exhale, downward. Inhale, open up. Take another full, deep breath. And then rise all the way back up to a tall spine. Hands in front to clasp. Turn your palms forward, push forward, and lift your arms overhead. Plug in with your shoulder blades onto your back, and you're making that space at the top of your shoulders. Press upward and lift up with your front body. Think of your low ribs lifting. Engage your low belly and your low ribs. Take a couple big breaths. Then releasing your hands, take a twist over to the left side, right hand reaching to your thigh, your knee, maybe the floor in front of you. Left fingertips press down behind you or beside you to help you lift longer through your spine. On your exhale, draw your low ribs in to help the twist happen just a little deeper. Inhale, come back into center. Clasp your hands in front. Turn forward with your palms and press. Draw shoulder blades onto your back here and then lift your arms overhead. Take a couple big breaths. And as you take your breaths, nestle your sitting bones down a little bit more. Lift from hip to armpit, and then engage your low belly and your low ribs. Now releasing your hands, take that twist over to the right side. Again, push down with your hands, lengthen your sides. Exhale your low ribs in and twist a little deeper. Inhale, come back into center. And exhale, round back through your back body. Chin tucks in towards your chest. Take a deep breath into your entire back. Send your breath all the way down into your low back. See if you can feel the expansion with your breath. Inhale, sit tall. Switch the cross of your legs, coming to the less comfortable cross for yourself. Shift your sitting bones. And now with your fingertips working forward, just in front of you with a little bit of space between you and your hands, you're welcome to come up on the blocks here if you want, if that feels a little bit better on your back body. But move through a couple rounds of cat and cow here. Again, gentle tilt forward and back through your pelvis, not going necessarily to the deepest place you've ever been, but going to that place that feels good on the low back. One more full breath here. Then inhale, extend forward with your heart. And now we're going to take a little twist more through the shoulders, stretching through the shoulders. So if you want to, you can come down onto your hands further, or you can stay up on blocks. But we're going to pass our right arm through to the left side. It's going to go underneath your left arm. And you might be on your elbow, you might come down onto your shoulder and your head, or anywhere in between. Take a couple big breaths here and find your breath expanding into that space in between your shoulder blades and underneath them. Then inhale back to center. And exhale, you're passing your right arm or your left arm through to the right side rather, finding that place that feels the best on your body. And again, you might be propped up on a block here still with your right hand You might come down toward your shoulder and your head, or stay up on your elbow. But take a big, deep breath. Then inhale back into center, and this time work your way as deeply in a forward fold as your body is ready for. Maybe that's propping your elbows up on something. Maybe that's extending yourself to release all the way down with your head. Wherever that is for you, take a couple big breaths. Fill out into your low back, into your hips. Notice the expansion of your entire back body. And now gently rise up to your hands, and we'll shift onto hands and knees. And from hands and knees, right away shift back into a child's pose, and you have your choice. That might be knees narrow or knees wide. But coming to the place that feels the best on your back body, your hips. And then do a little bit of movement here in your child's pose, shifting your hips, reaching your arms. Take a couple big inhales and exhales. This time, if you want, you can exhale through your mouth. Then inhaling, rising up to hands and knees. Set yourself up, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Rotate elbow pits forward and push, finding that expansion into your upper back. Inhale, reach back with your right leg behind you. Long and straight with your leg. Turn open with your right hip, so your toes are now aimed toward the right side. Push with your hands, find that expansion again through your upper back. On your exhale, step right foot to the outside of your right hand. Feel free to grab blocks here if you want to come up onto your hands with. Tuck your back toes under and work your back knee back as far as you need to go. This might give you a little extra stretch through your back thigh, but give a little push with your knee so that you're not sinking into your hip. One of the ways that we end up feeling really tight and restricted is when we collapse, okay? So it might be a little extra work to rise up a little bit here, but it creates a little more space through the hip socket, and ultimately that gives space for things like our psoas, which affects our low back. So now bring your right hand to your right knee, left hand is on your block or the floor. Take a gentle twist to the right side, and as you keep pushing into your back knee, bend a little deeper into your front knee. So you're going to do both actions at once. Both shoulder blades are on your back. Engage your low belly. One more big breath here. On your exhale, both hands come back down to the ground or your blocks. Extend your chest forward, and now you're going to work your way as far forward as your body needs to go with your elbows, extending your chest, working down onto your elbows into this lizard or alligator pose. Take a full big breath, and again, push with your back knee, allowing that elevation of your hip. Now notice your right glute and think of wrapping your glute down and under to help turn your knee a little bit more open to the right side. Take another deep inhale and exhale right here. And then rise back up to your hands, work back to hands and knees, settling yourself. Find a rotating action of your elbow pits and your upper arm bones. Push, and then reach back with your left leg. Turn open with your left hip. Stay pushing with your hands. Feel your low ribs lifting. Take a big, deep breath. Then step left foot to the outside of your left hand. Blocks for your hands if you would like. You can always have hands on the floor here if that feels better. Work your back knee back, getting a little longer stretch through your back thigh, and push down with your back knee. Extend your chest, And now your left hand comes to your knee as you start to take that twist to the left side. Both shoulder blades are on your back. And as you take that twist, engage your low belly. Full deep inhale, long full exhale. Next exhale, both hands come down to the inside. Extend your chest forward. I always like to walk my hands a little further forward here and then work down to elbows. Moving down as low as your body is ready for. And now again, you have those two actions to focus on. Push your back knee down so that your back hip is not sinking. Then your front hip, think of wrapping your glute down and under so your knee turns a little bit more toward the pinky toe edge. Big deep inhale, long full exhale. And then inhale, rise up to your hands and work back onto hands and knees. Set yourself up, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Again, rotate elbow pits forward and push. Tuck your toes under, lift your hips up and back for a downward facing dog for just a moment. Bend one knee at a time. Take 2 more deep breaths right here. And then walk your way forward, coming into your forward fold at the front of your mat. Blocks, if you would like them, for under your hands. A little bend to your knees, and then bring your hands up to your knees. As you send your sitting bones up and extend your heart forward, also engage your low glutes and your low belly. So you're supporting that action of your tilted pelvis. Exhale, fold over your legs. Hands to hips, push your hips back, start to lift up and open through your shoulders with a bend to your knees. Squeeze your glutes to rise all the way up. As you come up to your standing position, find feet inner hip distance apart and parallel, lift and spread your toes, and then root. Now with your hands coming together at heart center, close your eyes and take a moment to tune into your breath. And now as you root down through your feet, think of the fronts of your feet and your heels pressing down evenly, a little bend to your knees. Find a push from your hips down into the floor and start to lift your chest up. Lift your heart up, taking just a little tiny back bend. And as you do that, engage your low belly and your low glutes. Take a full big breath. Inhale, rise back up to center. And now we're going to take a sideways stance on our mats. You can turn sideways. I'm going to use my other mat here to turn sideways on. So wide stance, turning your toes forward for a moment or in the same direction for a moment. Find the outside edges of your feet parallel to each other. And now hands come behind your back to clasp. Remember, in our clasps, we're avoiding locking out our joints. So keep a bend to your elbows and a press of your palms together. Then lift your shoulders up and back and hug your elbows back. Little bend to your knees. Take a big inhale and start to lift your chest. Exhale, knees stay bent as you hinge from the hips and fold. And now as you fold, notice for yourself, maybe you keep an even bigger bend to your knees here to be able to find that comfort in the fold. Shoulders are lifting, elbows bent and hugging toward each other. Take a big breath. Inhale and just slightly lift your chest. Exhale and fold just a little bit deeper. Then release your hands, take them to your hips. Lift your shoulders up and back and inhale, rise all the way up to standing. And now turn your right foot out. Your right leg gets to stay straight. And if you want, you can use a block here for your triangle pose. But triangle is one of the poses I find is the best to get a sense of how my low back is really feeling. So right leg straight, but not so straight that you're locking your joint. You're going to keep a little micro bend. Wrap your right glute down and under so your knee is turning toward the pinky toe edge. Back leg, notice your left leg and think about rotating your inner thigh back. So if your heel wasn't really well planted, it would slide out to the left side, okay? Shift your hips back, draw your heart toward your right foot, and then you're gonna take your right hand down to a block above your knee, or even right up at your hip crease if that feels the best to you. Sometimes it does on the low back. From this place, take an inhale, extend your heart further. Exhale, root through your feet, turn your belly and your heart, maybe stretch your top arm to the sky. Deep breath. Top hand back to your hip, push through your feet and inhale, rise. Turn your right foot, feet are parallel, and turn your left foot out. And now again, little bend to your left knee so you're not locking your knee joint. Wrap your left glute so your knee rotates toward your pinky toe edge. Back thigh, rotate your inner thigh back so that your heel is trying to push out and wide, okay? And then shift your hips back, heart forward, and then take your hand down to a block above your knee or to your hip crease, your choice. I like the hip crease option because it creates that space in the hip. So if you want to, you can stretch your top arm to the sky. Take a big, deep breath. Inhale, rise all the way back up. Feet turn parallel. And one more time, hands behind your back to clasp. Lift your shoulders up and back. Elbows bend and hug back. Palms press. Little bend to your knees. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, hinge from the hips, fold over your legs. Deep breath. Hands can always stay resting against your back here, or you can lift them, but remember not to lock out your joints. Hands to hips. Press hips back, heart forward, and inhale, rise. Walk your feet together, and then come back to the front of your mat. Feet inner hip distance apart and parallel, hands at your heart. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. Inhale, stretch up overhead. Exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale, lengthen part way. And exhale, fold. Plant hand, you're stepping all the way back, downward facing dog pose. Take a full breath. Rotate elbow pits forward and push from your lats up through your hands. Lift your sitting bones. And then lower knees down, hips come to heels. Take a child's pose. Then inhale, gently bring yourself all the way upright. Come down onto your sitting bones and make sure that you can reach pillow or bolster and all your props. And then as you come to lay all the way onto your back, take a moment with knees pulled up into your chest to rock a little side to side and let your low back lengthen. I think about lifting one side and reaching it toward the foot of my mat, and then lifting the other side and reaching it toward the foot of my mat. So it's like I'm walking my low back longer. And then as you set your footprints on the ground, your knees are bent, take your hands to your upper thighs right up at your hip creases and give a push. And from this place, as your low back lifts a little bit, take a big breath into your low back. Trying to expand the low back muscles toward the ground as you inhale. And exhale, release them. And then release your hands from your thighs, cross your left ankle over your right knee, flex your foot. And then again, take your left hand into your thigh and give it a push. So you're creating that space. From that point, start to lift your legs as close to your body as you're ready for. And then when there's no more space for your hand, you can move it. Or you're gonna lift your legs only as far as it's comfortable for you anyway. So if that means your foot stays on the floor and you keep your hand there, that's okay. So wherever that is for you, I want you to rock your legs a little bit over to the right side so that your left hip is lifted. And then consciously think about that left sitting bone. Try to move your left sitting bone out to the left and forward. And this can be done with your legs lifted toward your chest or with your right foot on the floor, either one. So as you reach your sitting bone broad and forward, this helps to stretch that tight hip flexor underneath all your glutes, your piriformis. And when you stretch that, sometimes that helps release some things like your psoas, or maybe your sciatic nerve, or sometimes if you have SI joint pain, then this can help as well. A lot of things can be helped by this action. And then come on back into center and just allow your legs to draw in as close to your body as you're ready for. Flex both feet, take a big breath right here, maybe feel a little added stretch through your glutes. And then set right foot down and left foot down. Then cross right ankle over your left knee and lift your legs up as close to your body as you're ready for. Oh wait, I forgot the hand press. Don't forget the hand press. So press your thigh bone away on your right side and then lift your legs, creating that space. And then where it won't fit anymore, then you can take your hand out. And now rock your legs over to the left a little bit. And then right sitting bone moves out to the right and forward. Take a full big breath. Just notice for yourself how this side feels compared to the other side. And then bring your legs back into center and just hug your knees in as close to your body as you're ready for, maybe getting that added stretch through your glutes or whatever else you feel stretched. For me, that's a little bit of hamstring stretch as well. And then gently release left foot down and right foot down. And now from here, grab your pillow or bolster, set it underneath your legs, let your legs come down to rest. Grab your blanket and you're going to set it over your pelvis and your belly to start to settle in for your Shavasana. And as you begin to settle in for your Shavasana, just remember that you're never stuck in one place. If your legs being up on a bolster doesn't feel good, then you can always shift it. If having that blanket over your pelvis and belly is a little bit too much, then you're welcome to remove it. Just take the time to find what it is that your body needs. What is it that will help you release? And take a deeper breath. Begin to gently move through fingers and through toes. As you're ready to bend your knees and roll to one side. And then slowly press yourself back up to your seat. And with hands connecting at heart center, gently press your palms in and lift your heart up. With your eyes closed, take a moment to tune into your body, whatever is present. And take a deep breath. Have a very peaceful and beautiful rest of your day. Namaste. Thanks, everybody.